Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted, as always, to be joined by Gregory Dole. This is our second weigh-in reaction of the day. We talked about Jordan Thompson, Jaya Patai earlier. Here to talk about Canelo Alvarez versus Jermell Charlo ahead of tomorrow night. Super middleweight undisputed world championship on the line. Greg, good to speak to you as always. Obviously, it was a ceremonial weigh-in, as seems to be the case with big fights in the US. Today, both fighters made weight some hours ago, both 167.4 pounds, I believe. Obviously, Jermell Charlo is coming up in two weight divisions from light middleweight. Canelo Alvarez has been at super middleweight or at light heavyweight for a while now. Immediate thoughts and reaction to what we've just seen.
Really enjoyed it, Elliot. It was a strange weigh-in because I think I said to you off camera, it went really quick, and we're not really used to that in the UK. It's one of these ones where there's so many entrances, there's so much music, there's so much introduction, and so it was really nice that it went quick. But yeah, really enjoyed the weigh-in. I think it was quite interesting. Both guys. I know this isn't greatly important, Ellie, but what both guys wore walking into the ring. I didn't expect that for a start. So yeah, really interesting stuff.
Yeah, I think a couple of notes from me. I think I don't want to kind of touch on how the fighters looked because obviously this isn't actually them making weight. They've rehydrated and since then had some food, so I don't feel like it's worth touching on that too much. However, the obvious thing to talk about here is Jermell Charlo being at super middleweight. How do you think he looked? Obviously, Canelo is not a big super middleweight. It was really kind of could probably still make middleweight, but when the two were facing off, what did you think of the shape of both of them?
Elliot, I thought that they both looked good. I feel like I'm being harsh sitting here saying that I thought Charlo looked just a little bit fleshy because he's a lot bigger than Canelo, but Canelo's just that little bit more defined. But I thought both looked generally good. I think they both looked as though they've been very professional. And I think we're in for a treat tomorrow night. I think this is a real fight. And yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, it does have that. Look, it's a Canelo fight. We're in kind of perhaps the grander stages of his career now. It is undisputed versus undisputed, so it's quite a unique fight in that sense. Where does this rank for you, Greg, compared to how you're feeling now before the Golovkin fights, possibly kind of the Bivol fights, the Cotto fight. There's so many big fights Canelo's been involved in. You kind of lose track of how many are. This is fight number 64 for Canelo, believe it or not, which is incredible. How excited are you compared to kind of those other big Canelo nights that we've had in the past?
Yeah, it's different, Elliot, because I don't think anything's going to beat Golovkin. I think the build up to the first two fights were special, especially the first one. That is one of the most excited I've ever been for a fight. Cotto, yeah, love Cotto. As you know, for the viewers watching, I named my dog after Cotto that my
Mm.
dad's now got. So loved Cotto. A few of his other weigh-ins have been really, really exciting stuff. But this has got a different feel to it. I don't want to say this is like a passing of the torch because I don't believe it is. But I think this is one guy who worries about the passing of the torch and one guy who thinks it may be the passing of the torch, but both are not sure.
Mm.
And I think that's why this makes this so interesting because I read things off both of them in that way in. And for me, it's made it more exciting, Elliot, because I think it's both guys who do believe in themselves, but both stages in their careers, weight classes. I don't think either of them are going away tonight thinking, "I've got you." You know?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I always say this on these videos, like we're not body language experts, but you can still observe certain things.
Yeah.
I thought Jermell Charlo was obviously weighing in first, did that walk first. I thought he was acting quite confidently, kind of strutting around, sunglasses on. Um, whether that was true confidence or if he was putting on an act, I'm not sure, but it was just a part of the way in that I noticed. Did you read into that at all?
Yeah, I did. Um, I looked at Jermell Charlo when he was on his way to the ring, the way he was walking, the way he was acting, the interview. I, I felt like he was almost talking himself into it. and he
Mm.
was telling himself he was a bad guy. And Jermell Charlo is a bad guy, let's be honest. He can punch, he's a great fighter, but I still felt that little bit of he's still talking himself into this a little bit. And I'm going to throw a curveball out there that I don't think we've spoke about too many times on ESBR. And I really don't mean this in a negative, because I think it can be a positive as well. But I feel like, I don't know if he's his girlfriend or his wife, but I feel like she's had a big input in this fight. I don't know if any of the viewers have had time to catch up with the All Access episodes. She's got a big part to play in them. Even tonight, before Charlo went to the face-off after the weigh-in, she was holding his belt, saying things to him, and he like kind of nodding, walking. So, do you know what? Some guys really feed off a girl, and it makes them like that little bit extra focused. I totally get that, but made it interesting for me in a way, because I don't know if she was making up for the confidence that Charlo maybe lacked. So yeah, interesting stuff.
Yeah, look, it is another factor, and it's an interesting point to make up, because some people, obviously, the families are there, whether it's the partner or the parents, and some families you don't see. Like, if you, for example, the first thing that springs to mind for me is if you look at Tyson Fury, it's a known kind of fact that his mum has never been part of the picture. I don't think she's ever been seen at one of his fights. If you Google Tyson Fury mum, if you wanted to do that, nothing comes up, because she's just, no one knows who she is. Whereas compared to Tyson Fury's dad, who, apart from when he was in prison, is kind of is there is you can't really get away from him.
Yeah,
So it is interesting. Some people want to be involved and be in the action, but some people are nowhere to be seen. Couple of
yeah.
questions, Greg, before we finish. It's getting late here. It's quite an effort for us both to stay up this late for a weigh, and it's nearly midnight in the UK. Is Canelo in decline? Where is he at? Fight number 64. A lot of people thought he was going to stop John Ryder. He didn't. A lot of people thought he was going to stop Golovkin in that final fight, in that third fight. Sorry, he didn't. What's your take on it? Is Canelo in decline? And if yes, by how much?
I love Canelo, but I'm going to be straight to the point. Elliot, slightly, yes. I think the second Golovkin fight took a bit out of him. Not the first one, the second one.
Mm.
I think he's still an elite operator. I think he's still the very best in the world, but I think someone up and coming who is really on top of their game, I think they stand a 50-50 chance of beating Canelo. And I don't know if Jermell Charlo is that guy, but to answer your question, yeah, he's slightly in decline.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the honesty. And finally, just want to get your final thoughts ahead of tomorrow night. I personally, I'm pretty confident Canelo's going to win. If you consider Jermell Charlo coming up two weight divisions and beating Canelo Alvarez, would be look, one of the best achievements in the sport, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I don't see that happening. However, yeah, can Canelo stop him? I don't know. I think if it's either going to be a Canelo stoppage in the second half of the fight or a points win for me, and if I was pushed, I'd probably go for a unanimous decision on the cards. Give me your final thoughts, and we'll wrap things up then.
Yeah, thanks, Elliot. I think that's a really good outlook. I think that there's not enough to say that Charlo's going to win. He's very, very good. He's undisputed at 154, but let's be honest, he's not set the world alight at 154. It's not been like, with the greatest of respect, it's not been elite operators or guys who have been like, real guys at the pinnacle of boxing. But he's done very well, and he's became undisputed, and there's very few fighters that can say that. So respect and props where it's due. I just think Canelo will stop him, Elliot. I think it'll be late. I think it'll be maybe inside 8 to 12. And I just think that the power and the experience will tell. And I've seen enough from the way in there from Charlo just to think you're not overly sure of yourself.
Mm.
So, yeah, I think it'll be a very, very good fight. I think Charlo will give it his best. I think early on, I think he's going to give it all the bravado, but I just see Canelo pulling through.
Fantastic. And we'll leave it there. Greg, thank you for joining me. Really looking forward to this one. Another big fight, Canelo Alvarez versus Jermell Charlo, taking place in Las Vegas for the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will speak to you again soon.
Thanks, Elliot. Appreciate it.